Hello! This is the second of 3 videos describing the Cooperative Critical Listening Assignment, or CCLA. In the first video, I provided a general overview of the assignment. In this video, I'm going to describe in detail the individual video assignment. In the next video you should watch, I will describe the CCLA discussions. If you click on Modules in Canvas and go to the second module titled Course Constants, you'll see course resources, listening guide quizzes, and the third section, which is titled CCLA. In the CCLA, all of the component parts are listed. However, some of these are also steps within the topic modules. You'll see individual video due dates, as well as submit your individual video in 2 places. Let's go ahead and click on Submit Your Individual Video. This will take you to the individual video assignment description and rubric. If you go ahead and make this a little bit, oh, I can't do that, or I disappear, we will exit full screen. And I will pull this down instead. There we go. All right, so I've already described that you're put into groups on Canvas, and you can access those groups on the left-hand side of the page, but your discussions will automatically take you to those groups as well. So, in weeks 2, 3, 5, and 6, students from each group will be expected to explain their listening process and analysis of an assigned Norton Inquisitive Listening Guide quiz in your own words in a 2 to 3 minute video that is uploaded to a discussion board in your Canvas group. This means that a student will only be producing 1 video during the semester. So you're not going to be creating an individual video assignment every week. You have been assigned a certain date, and this assignment will be made by Tuesday, May 16th. And only once in the semester you will create a video that is then uploaded to this individual video assignment link, as well as to an assigned discussion 1 through 6 on Canvas. Now, in weeks 2, 3, and 5, 2 students will be creating a video, not on the same Norton Inquisitive Listening Guide quiz, but on 2 different quizzes because we covered both of those quizzes within one topic. So what does your video have to talk about? So you have been assigned to create 1 video this entire semester as associated to one of our Norton LG pieces that are important to our topics in Music 189. So in your 2 to 3 minutes, I want you to cover, and it does not have to be in this order, just make sure that you cover all of these component parts, 3 musical elements. Now, musical elements may not make sense to you right now, but it should after you complete Module 1. And this video assignment doesn't start until the very end of Module 1 for some students, and then the discussions don't start until the second week of the semester. So musical elements in general are like harmony, texture, melody, rhythm. So these overall sections to music, and I'm going to provide you vocabulary with which to discuss those parts of music. So in your videos, I want you to describe how you listened for 3 elements. They can be whatever you want. And if you're unsure about certain elements, sometimes students are reluctant in regards to texture and rhythm. If you want to focus on instrumentation, that is a musical element. If you want to focus on melody, that is another element that's a little bit easier. The 3 that you choose are up to you. You are in control of that. And you can research this by exploring the Norton LGs ahead of time and by reading the corresponding pages in the Enjoyment of Music textbook and by conducting simple Google searches. I would start with reviewing the Norton Listening Guide quiz that is associated with the piece you've been assigned and the component parts of that. And then you can conduct overall Google searches for anything else you might need. But in describing your 3 musical elements, please make sure you really articulate how you're listening. So this might be actually focusing on, in order to hear one musical element, you might actually say, hey, I pay attention to this musical element in order to hear another one. You can make these as relatable as you want. They do not have to be professional videos. The second part you should address is the historical context. So in what musical era? So you're going to be learning about different periods of time associated with the history of music, such as Romanticism, 20th century modernism, and how does that piece that you've been assigned sound like that time period? So how do the musical characteristics mirror that of the time period? This will give you insight into style, musical style. All right, the last part you should address in your video is music today. So how could you relate the LG to music you listen to today? How is it vastly different? Maybe it sounds nothing like the music you listen to today, but why doesn't it sound like the music you listen to today? Be specific. Don't just say, this is so different than the music I listen to. Bummer. Or, wow, this is so different. It's exciting. But then you don't go into why. So go into why. So once again, you can prepare for your video by reviewing once the Norton Inquisitive Listening Guides, as well as the corresponding pages in the enjoyment of music that are assigned within a module, the From Your Textbook section, and by just conducting Google searches. Wikipedia is fine for this. You don't have to cite it. I wouldn't rely on that for your musical elements, but that might provide you with some insight on the historical context. All right. So be clear in explaining things to your peers. You're also encouraged to be creative. This is a course that's part of the College of Creative Arts. I do this assignment face-to-face, and in this assignment, students come up with a variety of ways of creating their videos. So you can feel free to be funny, you can use inventive analogies, incorporate visual imagery, it's up to you. So some people create a video like this, where it's just them explaining things one-on-one, using some gestures, getting excited. Sometimes they'll show like little images in front of the camera. Other people choose to use Powtoon or Prezi and narrate a presentation. That is certainly okay if you don't want your face to be on the video. Just make sure that you are vocally explaining with your and narrating your presentation. If you know of any other online methods of creating videos, feel free to use that. If you can please upload whatever you've created to YouTube if there's no accompanying text, if it's just you speaking. If you upload to YouTube, closed captioning will automatically provide it. It's not always perfect, but it makes your video more accessible to other students in the course. Feel free to incorporate the components of the rubric with your own ingenuity. I want you to be creative in explaining your musical example. Think about, okay, I know this music because I've researched it, I've read about it, I'm a little bit more comfortable about at least these three musical elements. How can I help my peers listen to it? How would I teach it to them? How would I describe it? And then after you describe your parts, if there are still some certain elements that you're having trouble with, please feel free to go ahead and explain those to your peers and say, hey, I am still having a hard time with texture. Can any of you describe it in a certain way that might help me? And that will get a discussion going within your individual group discussion. The rubric is simple for the individual video. I'm just asking you to engage with these three parts. You have to address the first. You have to give me at least three musical elements and explain them in your own words. Don't just read what the listening guide tells you. Please tell me how you are listening to them. Address the historical context. Don't just provide dates, but associate it with the sounds of a historical era. So if it is written in the 19th century and it is romantic, how does it sound romantic? If it is written in the 16th century and it's from the Renaissance, what are characteristics of the Renaissance that this piece that you've been assigned embodies? And then the third part, which is 30 points as well, is, okay, how can this be related to music today? Even though it sounds really different, maybe there's something about it in terms of the musical elements or its context that actually relates it to music today. You might be surprised as engage in this assignment and learn more about Western art music, how it's sometimes popular music as well. And then 10 points for clarity and creativity. So that is up to you to explore. Due dates. So when and who is doing these every week? Once again, I said I cannot make the final group assignments until Tuesday, May 16th, and that is because of the add drop period. I would have to reassign all of the groups since it's a random assignment, and I'm just going to do it after the add drop period, and that should still give the first round of video assignment people time to do their videos. So they vary depending on when you create your video. So this cooperative critical listening individual assignment, all the other assignments in Canvas have due dates that will pop up, on the home page on the right hand side. This one will not, because everybody's due date is different. Do note that videos are due on Sunday, 1 week prior to the due date of the LG, or Norton Inquisitive Listening Guide, that you've been assigned to explain. So if I go to modules, let me explain this a little bit further. If you go into your group page, if you go into your group page and click on announcements in your group page, by the end of Tuesday, you will see discussions 7, 1 through 7, that you have been assigned. You'll see it there. I will also be creating an Excel spreadsheet that looks something like this. Now, these are students from my spring semester. You'll need to download the Excel spreadsheet. You can't just access it in Canvas because the discussion tabs don't show up. So you'll see discussion tabs 1 through 7 for us. And if you click on a different one, there's a new list of people. You'll see the piece you've been assigned, the topic that it is associated with, as well as the video due date, what group you're in, and who is assigned. So everybody knows everybody's assignments, but once again, I can't do that until Tuesday, until the add drop period settles down. Okay, so if you click on modules, let me show you how the individual video assignment is integrated. So firstly, you can find it under course constants. You'll need to submit your video in 2 places. So the first place you're going to submit it is the assignment that I will be grading. So I'm going to grade your video assignment as separate from the discussion. Then you're going to submit your video on your discussion board. So we already have 2 discussions that are popping up. The first discussion is associated with the second week, which is our music and drama topic. You'll note that there are steps. So you can kind of ignore these steps. These are steps for everybody participating in the discussion, which is described in the 3rd video. But you can click on here and it will take you to your individual listening guide that you're responsible for. If I click on here, I'm logged in and I can watch all of this to prepare for my video. Easy peasy. All right, so let me go back. Okay, so you are going to be the first person to click reply. You're going to reply with your video. After that, your participation in the discussion is technically done, but please feel free to return to the discussion in order to see if anybody answers your questions you might have in your video or how they heard the piece. I would continue to look at how people respond to your video. So you're going to be the first one. You click post reply. So for this first discussion, students create the video must post by May 21st. That's the first Sunday of the course. Students who are responding have until May 28th, but that's not in terms of the video. You have to respond with the video from the start. And then all students must complete the LG by Sunday, May 28th. All right, so if I also go back to modules, you'll see this post under the very first. Okay, so if we go to Module 2, Music and Drama, you'll note that this discussion is the step 5 and 6 because you have to go back and forth. So People will watch your video, they'll take a quiz, and then they'll have to go back to the discussion in order to respond to it. If you have questions about what are examples, sorry, I need to scroll back up. My undergraduate associate for Music 189 is creating an individual video example that will be posted as soon as possible here, and then some discussion response examples. But once again, exactly how you create your video is entirely up to you. You can be as creative as you want. If you're more comfortable just talking one-on-one like I am in these videos, that is just as creative as a PowerPoint or a Prezi or a Powtoon or whatever you want to use. If you have any other questions, I think I've gone over everything. So what the assignment is, who and when they're due, right, which is variable throughout the semester, as well as where you are supposed to submit it. So 2 places. You need to submit your individual assignment in 2 places. If you do create a video like this one, please make sure that you upload it to YouTube first and then just provide your YouTube link. And if you have any other questions outside of these examples, always email. Now watch the 3rd video about the discussions.